Hey Scouts, I wanted to make a quick video and just say hi to y'all. It's been a while since we haven't met because of COVID-19 going on. So I wanted to just give you guys a little bit of encouragement. And I just had this thought I wanted to share with you. See, I can remember Super Bowl 40, I think it was Super Bowl 47. Year was 2013. It was San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens were playing a football game. The Baltimore was killing it. They were in the third quarter leading 28-6, and then all of a sudden the lights went out. The football game got stopped for 34 minutes. And that was a disruption to one of the most popular sporting games that are aired on TV. When the lights came back on, the game continued, but the game changed. See, all of a sudden the 49ers had this massive rush. They almost won the Super Bowl. It was probably one of the greatest comebacks, I wouldn't say comeback, but that was ever made up, because they almost won the game. In the end, Baltimore won it, but they won it 31-34. So that lights out moment left me with a bit of a reminder that it's real easy to interrupt your momentum you have in whatever it is you're working on. A simple lights out at a football game completely changed the game for these players. Not only did the 49ers almost win, it changed their momentum to push them, to drive them. But it also changed Baltimore's. You see, the Ravens, they almost lost the game. They had momentum to win the game, and then all of a sudden, with lights out moment, 34-minute interruption, the momentum got lost. See, guys, with this coronavirus going on, I want to make sure you guys stay motivated to continue working through your scouting requirements and your ranks. Just like the Super Bowl game that got interrupted, you guys have been interrupted by months of not meeting and not completing, not working through your requirements, your ranks, your achievements that you need to do to complete your Eagle Scout. Some of you guys have written me, well, Mr. Reagan, I don't know how to complete this requirement because we're not allowed to meet. So I want to challenge you guys. You remember in your TLT training, your troop leadership training, I always bring up one thing at the very first of the training class. It is SEMPER GUMBY. I'll show you a picture of Gumby. And to remind you to be flexible, to always be flexible. And the next exercise I have you do is I have you draw a square on a piece of paper, and I have you draw a picture. Some of you draw inside the square. Some of you use the square as part of your picture. You see, I want you to think outside the box, like those who draw outside the square. So be flexible, think outside the box. Look at your scout requirement, read it, understand what the actual requirement is. Most of the requirements tell you what you have to do, but they don't tell you how to do it. So when requirement says, go interview a employee of civil service for community service, it doesn't say you have to go talk to that in person. It says interview that person. So you guys, there's this old school technology that I grew up using. It's called a telephone. You dial a number and you talk to somebody on the other end. You don't have to text with them. You can just dial the number. Well, that's an interview. You can also do what I'm doing now. You can do a live chat or live view and interview that person. So there's many ways to accomplish your requirements. Same thing with those who have been working on your Eagle Scout projects. Many of you have Eagle Scout projects have already been approved. Unfortunately, you weren't able to start them because of the coronavirus. Rethink your Eagle project. Maybe you can do something different to complete that requirement that you wrote down in your Eagle project. Some of you may have to do a different Eagle project altogether. Some of you, for instance, scouting for food. Let's take that for example. I read an article where a troop completely changed how they were doing scouting for food. Instead of going door to door, they set up drop-off centers. And they sent out emails to their communities, video chats or whatnot, and asked them to drive through a drop-off center to drop off stuff at a center that has been cleaned. Well, that's just a different way of thinking of doing it. The task was to gather food for a food bank. It got done. It just got done differently. You see, guys, everything that we've been doing in our troop to accomplish rank requirements is because that's the way we've always done it. And that's because those are the freedoms and the abilities that we had to do something in a certain way. Some of those have changed. So I want to encourage you guys to be flexible and think outside the box. You can figure out a new way to accomplish a task that we've always done, and we've always done it a certain way, but we can do it differently. For instance, some scouts need to complete X amount of nights of camping for a camping requirement. Well, what does the camping requirement say? The requirement under camping says you have to complete X amount of nights of camping with a scheduled scout activity or a scheduled scouting event. But what it doesn't say is that that scheduled scouting event has to be your troop at a BSA campground. It doesn't say that. Granted, that's what we've always done, but that's not what you have to do. So, we could schedule a virtual camp out. Why not? SPL, you can just say, hey, we're going to have a scheduled camp out next weekend. Everybody, we're going to do a Zoom high or whatever, and we're going to go camping in our backyard. It's a scheduled event, a scheduled camp out by our troop that we're doing remotely in our backyards. Boom, there we go. We can get your nights done. So, guys, scouts, take this opportunity. And this is an opportunity. This is not the lights went out in the stadium and it's completely changed the game. Don't think of it that way. It's not a game changer that changes and kills your game. This is an opportunity, just like the 49ers took, to change their momentum and drive even harder to go after those requirements and complete things that we need to do. So, look at your requirements. Think differently. Think outside the box. Read what it is you have to do, what you have to get done, and figure out different ways to go do it. Who knows? It might be more fun than the way we've done it in the past. You might end up finding a new way for us to do it. Let's go finish those Eagle Scout projects. We'll see y'all later.